Welcome, beautiful people, to Unscripted Season 2, Episode 1. My first episode is going to be covering breast cancer in our community. Today, I actually have joining us a cancer survivor, Andrea and then I have an oncology nurse, Denise. Thank you, ladies, for being part of the show today. I appreciate you both for coming out and sharing your expertise and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me. This is kind of cool.
This is really amazing to be able to do this.
Yeah. One of the reasons I really wanted to cover this as one of my first episodes is cancer in general has hit and struck my family very hard over the past 6 or 7 years. We've had multiple different types of cancer in my family, but the past, I think, few years, breast cancer has affected a lot of our family members. For those of you who do not know, Andrea actually is my cousin. So we grew up together. We did a lot of things together growing up. Yes.
Yeah, we did.
But a childhood, I would not ever go back or take anything back away. We had some great times.
I had a lot of memories, Yeah.
And when I found out Andrea had breast cancer, it was actually scrolling on Facebook.
Wow.
I hadn't talked to you in a while. You know how sometimes families just kind of drift apart? And we hadn't really been connected for a few years. And scrolling on Facebook, it struck me. I was like, oh my goodness, my cousin has breast cancer. And it took me a while to digest it. And the first thing I thought was, she needs me. And I don't know what the right words are to say, but let me reach out to her and let her know that I'm here for her.
I appreciate that so much too, Mel. You don't even know. Like, I'm already going to start crying.
But it's okay. Like, it's okay. You can let it out.
Thank you so much, because it meant a lot.
Yeah.
For you to be the one to cut my hair.
Yes.
And not only that, but just with so much that you did with me, the benefits and just being there and asking me how I'm doing, all through my treatments and my journey, you played a big part. And even with all the stuff you have going on, oh my God, you are so freaking busy. This woman is so busy. And for you to squeeze me in, like, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I could never repay you for what you did to me. Thank you.
When you love someone, you make them a priority, and you are a priority to me.
Oh, I felt it. I did. Yes. I felt it. I felt the love. I felt the appreciation, like just everybody reaching out to me and just, what you can't really, what do you tell somebody when, they have cancer?
There's no right thing to say.
No, you just, I'm praying for you. And that's all I needed.
And I'm here.
Yeah. And that's all I needed. It was those prayers. And just, I documented my journey. Like, I didn't, wasn't too, all the way out there. But, this was my platform. Facebook was my platform to just let everybody know what was going on with me. Because I have so many people that, work families, my families. Like you said, we haven't contacted, been in. But Facebook was kind of just a place where I knew everybody was going to see this and everybody was going to know how I was doing. So I documented it a lot through my journey. I was actually diagnosed April 5th of 2022. So that's coming up here pretty soon.
That's in a few days.
Yeah. I just sit back and I think, you look at this book that I have in front of me, and that's what was given to me at my, first doctor visit.
Yeah.
So imagine just having that, and then being told you're diagnosed with cancer and, you're stage 3. I was stage 3. I had a tumor the size, it was over a little 2.5 inches big under my nipple. Mm-hmm. So, I had a pretty big tumor. And not only that, but it spread out. So, that's why it was stage 3. Stage 3 was because it had ventured out to my lymph nodes behind the breast cavity wall. I sit here grabbing myself, and my right breast is gone.
Yeah.
I lost my breast, but I'm here.
Yeah.
I had a day a couple weeks ago. It's so funny that I was mourning my breast, and you mourn it. Like I miss my boobs.
Yes.
You take them for granted. We really do, because there's such a hassle. Like, oh, I hate wearing a bra, but when you don't got them, man, you just. But I'm okay. Like I'm okay. I'm okay to go out in public with one boob. You'll see me every now and then. I do have a bra on, but with one boob.
And can I kind of go back to because I remember you sharing your story with me from the beginning. You were considered too young to even have a mammogram.
Yeah.
And you detected yourself. Can you share with us how you had a hunch that you might have breast cancer?
Listen to your body. Always listen to your body. We are the biggest advocates for our bodies. Like, nobody knows your body more than you. You know when something's not right. And I was 40. I was turning 41, so I was still 40, and you're supposed to get a mammogram at 40.
At 40.
So I'm 40. I think it's 2021 when I would turn 40. So I had a good year that year, and I was like, I don't need a breast thing. I'll be okay. So here comes 2022, and I'm glad I went when I went, because it could have got worse.
Yeah.
But I was feeling like a sharp pain, like to my nipple. And like if I squeezed my nipple, it would stop. So that was happening I think I let it go on for about a month. And then I was like, okay, this ain't right, So, but then too, my nipple started to invert in. So like I had an innie.
Yeah, and it wasn't the same.
No,
you knew
and then you Google. Oh my God, Google is
never
like
Dr. Google.
Oh my God, I think
WebMD, everything.
I think I've diagnosed myself with so many things over the years. But I diagnosed myself.
It scares you.
It does.
Yeah.
But I did diagnose myself with breast cancer before I went. And sure enough, had my mammogram. They're like, come back. We want to check these areas, maybe do a biopsy. So all that happened. And then on April 5th is when I was told that I had breast cancer. And I was only 40. I turned 41 during my journey. 40. And I'm young. But there's women that are younger than me.
Yes.
That have had breast cancer and that have gone through this. So, I mean, it's so important to not only self-check, but just know your body. Mm-hmm. Like, know your body. When you know something's not right, it's not right.
No, and you got to push it. You really have to push it with some of the medical professionals. My daughter had a friend who was in her 20s. And just went through breast cancer.
Really?
And no history or anything. Wow. So it's really important, because some doctors are like, oh, no, you're fine. Or, you're too young for this. Yeah. Or your insurance is going to be giving you a hard time about going for a mammogram, even though you feel like there's something wrong.
Because you're so young.
And I know a lot of people kind of stray away from pursuing being seen and getting tested because they're afraid, what if my insurance doesn't cover it because I'm not at the age, right? So if things like that happen, I mean, I'm not even sure how you would go about it. Do you contact your insurance? Do you?
You would almost think you would have to, right? I think I need.
And then I know going through this and with our family's history, if you share that with the doctor, like we have several family members that have had breast cancer, they may be a little more proactive to try to see if they can get that push forward so the insurance will cover things like that.
But I think nowadays, like, it's so sad because it is such a common cancer.
Yes.
It's so freaking common. So you would think that they would, like, try to push this, even on the younger women,
It's 1 out of 8 women have breast cancer or are going to get breast cancer.
Yeah. My luck, it was me. I'm that person, go big or go home. That's me. I took one for the team. I tell my family that all the time. I took one for the team. But, I feel like I went through this for a reason. Like, I was at a point in my life where, like, what am I supposed to do with myself? Like asking, God, praying, like, give me answers. I think this is God's way of telling me, you know what? I'm going to give you some time to think about what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. But in the midst of all that, you're going to go through some shit. And I did. I went through it. The hardest part from my journey, and everybody has their own journey and their stories, and some people are very open, like myself, and some people are very, candid, closed, and don't want to talk about it, and that's okay, everybody to each their own, just know that they're not out there fighting the fight alone. I'm here, and I'm only one voice, but I know there's so many women out there that are just as loud as I want to be about this. We have to make this very, bring the awareness, 20, you said your daughter's friend was 20.
Well, she's in her 20s, but that's young. I mean, in the hospital, we see all different ages. And a lot of women do get diagnosed even when they're pregnant and they're going through the hormone changes.
Yes,
and,
that's bad.
And you're seeing people anywhere from their 20s to their 70s. I mean, there's so many times, once you get to a certain age, they're, you don't need to go to them for your mammogram. It's not recommended every year. So, when you look at things, you definitely have to listen to your body. That is so important to be and be an advocate.
And do self-checks. I don't think I would have ever found mine if I did my self-check, but I have done them. I do them. I do. I'm over here touching myself. But it's because, that's really what we women have to do. You have to get under there. You got to touch yourself. A lot of them is in the lymph nodes area, so.
Which is close to the underarm area.
Yeah. And I had several lymph nodes removed during my surgery because.
And you did have a single mastectomy.
I did have a single mastectomy. I opted out of having the other one done just because, I was thinking the recovery time and, I was just only one's broke right now. But I also thought, at the beginning, they grow together, they go together. I thought about them both going.
Yeah.
And I still might at the end, I'm having reconstruction.
So are you considering,
I definitely will have reconstruction, but not until, the end of the year. I'm thinking more winter when it's hibernation season and I ain't got nothing to do. This summer, I got things to do. I'm doing 2022 stuff still.
She's gonna live life.
I am so I have to do me right now, and doing me is just learning more about me. So I started my journey in April. This is when everything happened. I had my port put in. The middle of April, and the port, for you guys don't know, it's a port that they put in an incision inside your chest area right here. Well, I guess
the clavicle area.
Yeah, so I guess it could go into both areas, right?
Yeah, they usually try to do it on the right side if possible.
See, and my cancer was on the right, so they went to the left.
Do the left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I had a port put in, and then within the next week, I started chemo. Yeah. And the worst part about this for me was not feeling sick, but knowing that I had to get sick in order to feel better.
Yeah.
That was mentally for me, it messed with my head a lot. I don't feel sick. And I was sick. And, I did feel sick at the end, but also because I had so much meds and stuff that I was going through. So, of course, towards the end, I was ugh, I'm just tired. I'm tired. I never wanted to give up. And I never doubted myself. I always knew that I was going to finish this, but...
you were always super positive during the whole thing. And I know you must have had your days, but it was inspiring to see you not being why did this happen to me? Because you never once did that.
I don't think... No, you can't. You have to go in this with such a positive... a positive attitude. You don't have to. You can have... You make your journey. And I was determined to make a good journey for me. Mm-hmm. And in my time of being sick, I went back to school.
Yes.
I was like, you know what? I think this is a good time. I've always kind of been a fan of cannabis. Mm-hmm. Recreationally, medically, medicinal, whatever. So I took this time and I went to college at Rockford Career College, and I took their program. It was 8 months. It was an online program, but I finished it. I did. I started and I finished it. There were days where I'm like, man, having to write a paper, like, you know, even
on days that you didn't feel like writing a paper.
You don't ever have to bullshit anything more than writing a paper, man. Those are like the hardest things to do is write a freaking paper, man. But I did it. You know, I had to do tests. I had to, you know, everything, you know. But I did. Look, I probably.
Let's see. You actually got your certificate of completion.
I did. Look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's the applause?
Where's the applause?
Yeah, that's what's up.
And do you plan on doing something
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Like,
what was it? Cannabis that kind of helped you with your healing?
Definitely. I definitely think smoking weed, like, during my time mentally helped me. Like, yes. I didn't think so much into it. Like, I was able to just take it for what it is and just relax, you know? Like, honestly, like, just, like, it helped. It helped.
It helped you a lot.
It did. It really did.
Like, with the anxiety,
I would definitely say, like, with, you know, I'm not one to suffer from anxiety, but, you know, having so much to think about when you're
on your mind.
Yeah, like, you know, so I mean, I smoked, I can't lie. But I also was learning about it too, you know, the medical. I wanted to learn more on the medical side.
What is it doing to you?
What can it do? You know, there's so many remedies and so many strains of marijuana that, you know,
indica, sativa, hybrid.
Yeah, all that good stuff, you know, oils, you know,
yes. Edibles,
all that good stuff.
Drops, all of that.
I learned all about it. I finished. I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
Well, I hope it
was just,
continues.
Honestly, it was just something for me to do, like, while I was on my journey. You know, I didn't want to just sit at home. And I worked for a little bit. I worked at the hospital. Shout out to my Rochelle peeps. I worked at the hospital for a little bit. I had just started that job and like, I hadn't even been there a year, I think. And, like, them ladies pulled together and just showed me so much love. And I did. I went to work and with my bald head.
And let's tell the story about the first time Andrea, she knew her hair was starting to fall out.
Okay, so let me tell this story.
Yes.
So, oh my God, I laugh about this because it's so funny. So, Melly has a granddaughter. She was 4 at the time. So Bella, you know, I come upstairs, you know, I'm talking to Bella. And at this time, you know, I have my hair, you know. So, you know, I'm talking to her, you know, me and Melly are getting set up, you know. So, she goes away. She goes in place, comes back about 25 minutes later or so, you know. She comes back and she's like, what the fuck?
What the hell? It was what the hell.
No, I heard what the fuck. Oh. No, I was like, and Melly's like right away trying to apologize, and I'm just laughing and crying because, you know, it was so innocent, so pure, because, you know, she see me with
the full head of hair.
And then she comes back and she's like, what happened to you? You know, so, yeah, that.
It was, and she's like, I'd rather have a 4-year-old do that than an adult. And yeah. I remember she's like, I needed that laugh so bad. And we decided to do it at my house because she wanted the first head shave to be more private. She wasn't ready to do it at the barbershop. But then after that,
I was like,
we did it at the barbershop.
Yeah. Oh, man, I rocked my bald head. I loved it.
Yes, you did.
I loved it. And it was summertime.
Grace.
Yes.
With grace.
And it was summertime. So, you know, I was feeling it. And then I have a nice shaped head. I learned that.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. So I learned that.
Perfectly round.
Yeah. The only part, I think, with losing your hair is losing your eyelashes and your eyebrows.
Yeah.
Man, because then that makes you really look sick. Like, after those were gone, I'm like, damn, I look sick now, you know? And it was kind of hard to look at yourself. And, you know, my kids are awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody was awesome with me. My family, everybody, you know, my work families.
We decided to do, I know there was one time she was like, I really need family right now. And we ended up having a night out and she just wanted to be Andrea.
Oh
and
my God.
And we had like the best time.
I did.
During that I don't know what you would call it, episode that night, because it was a whole show. We had a great time. A lot of our cousins came out and friends.
Yeah.
And we had a great time.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to show you that we support you. We love
and
you.
I felt it. I felt the love.
Yes.
I felt the love. And I still feel it. Like, I'm still, like, I just feel like this has brought even my family back together. Like, I have aunts that had blocked me on Facebook.
You're that one. You're that one.
But look, they got me jewelry and I'm wearing it now. I'm not saying any names, but you know what I'm saying? It just brought us all back together, and it's unfortunate that it was this, but you know, I'll like I said, I took one for the team, and it brought us together, and I look forward to seeing my family, you know, now, like knowing that they want to be around, and you know, like we can't take life for granted. Like one day we're here, the next you're not, you know, a lot can happen.
Mm-hmm. And that night that we were out, and I was like, is there anything I can do? Is there anything you need from me? Well, she knows that I event coordinate on top of the multiple other things that I do in my life, with my life. She said, you know what? There is something. I want to do a fundraiser because I'm going to be off of work for a while and I'm not going to have any income. And I said, if I can help you with that, me and some other family members pulled together. And we had an amazing fundraiser for you. Do you want to like talk a little bit about the fundraiser?
So I had two of them actually.
Yes,
I did have two of them. So the one we did.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just the type of person, like I just randomly think of things and then I just do it. So a few years ago, 2020, I got this brilliant idea.
I know.
I'm gonna sell adult toys. I don't know. I think I was like super high, but I don't know.
Everybody needs it, okay?
Well, apparently they didn't have the money to pay for mine because they were very expensive toys. So I sat with this like products, like over $500 worth of stuff for the last couple years. And I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do with it? So then I'm like, oh, benefit. Yes. So I did. I asked Melanie. She's like, what can I do? And I'm like, man, because I got all these freaking vibrators in my closet.
And creams and lotion.
Yeah. That's definitely. I want, like they all win. I don't know if everybody won them or if they bought them. I don't know. But at the end,
I've heard stories about things with them, and I will not share them on this podcast.
See, I don't even know. I don't even know who they went to. But yeah, like. So I'm just glad they went to a happy home. But yeah, so my benefit was at the Texas Lounge on South Main. And it was awesome. Like, man, y'all like came through. My cousin Tita, shout out to her. Yes. She came through and she bedazzled all these little cool shot glasses. All kinds of things. We had
sold shirts
and stuff, foods.
We had a raffle.
We had the sex toy bingo, and that's when you were
we had sex toy bingo. That's what we did with all the vibrators and lotions.
So just I just didn't give them. They weren't door prizes or anything.
No, you had to win them.
You had to pay for them, But I mean, I did well. I did very well. Yeah. And we had so much fun, and shout out to Diane, because she brought a TV.
A flat screen TV.
Yes. That was the most fun, like, to me, was to see everybody, like, win those prizes. Because we had, like, a silent auction, kind of, you know? And there was, like, so many, I don't know.
Bottles of liquor and baskets.
Yes, and the TV. So thank you, Diane, and her girls.
Yes.
The Campbell girls for coming and donating that, because it went to a good home.
Shout out.
Yes. Thank you, everybody that came through, my family. But yeah, so that happened, and then shortly after that is when I had my surgery.
Yes.
So I had my surgery on October 6th, I think it was. So I was still doing school during this time. So I had to do my homework before I went into surgery. So that week, I finished my homework on a Wednesday. I finished everything except for one test, but I did that on Sunday. So I did my assignments, turned it in. I did really well, too, that week. Surprisingly, you would think that I would be down, but no, I finished it, got good. But after that, a couple weeks later, I had another benefit from my mom.
Yes.
And we had another TV that was there.
Yeah, nice.
Nathi won that one. My daughter won that one. That one was fun. It was just so much fun to see everybody like together and, you know, like raising a cause for myself, you know, like this is just, it was awesome just to see how many people just showed out for me and, in my time of need. I feel not 100% better, but I feel so good to be me again, like not to feel sick. Like it just feels good to have those moments of energy to just get up and clean, you know, like because I was down for
a while,
for a year, almost a year, you know, I was down. But yeah, I did it. I walked through and gracefully, and I had days that I was just like, I can't do this, and I didn't want to do it. You know, that chemo, the chemo was bad, but you know, to me, I think radiation was a lot worse.
Is that what made you feel sick?
Chemo made me feel sick.
The chemo made you feel sick.
Do you get a lot of that?
Yeah, the chemo, it's the one that makes you sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was called, the Red Devil. What is that called?
Adriamycin.
Oh my God.
Oh,
So
you told me about that.
So it's called the Red Devil, and it's
red.
It's red, and it's big.
It's rightfully named, it sounds like.
It's big ass syringe, and it's got the red medicine in it, and the nurse sits there, and she gives it to you, like she puts it in your port, by hand. So that takes about 10, 15 minutes for the nurse to push it. So, and that one was only, every other week. So I think I did that one 4 times. Yeah, 4 doses of that, but every other week. So like that week that I would have it, I'd be down, but then the next week I was good.
Yeah.
So I went to work. I was working at that time, and like come Sunday, like my body just felt so, like you know how you feel when you're got the flu, your body just aches and hurts.
Yes.
Like that's what my body would feel like come Sunday. Like I was just like, don't touch me. Don't like.
Yeah, you were just like.
Yeah, like, but there's days that I would go to work and I just like let the nurses like know that I'm okay, but just know that I'm not okay. And they were awesome. I had a good group of nurses that I worked with at the hospital. So yeah, I was good.
And then let's talk a little bit more about your diagnosis. Like I know you had stage 3 cancer.
So that's pretty much all I know. So let me get this paper. Maybe Denise could like understand it a little bit better. So like, what is all that positive, negative, and all those numbers?
Because I know when I was researching, they tell you stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, but then there's grades of cancer, and I didn't know that was like
a thing.
Yes, I didn't know.
Yeah,
so
I don't know either.
So a lot of it, when they look at they're looking not only at the tumor and the size of it, but they're also looking at where, like you said, is it behind the breastbone? Is it in the lymph nodes? That's usually how they grade is it stage 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Right. So that's why it was 3 for me, because it had gone in different areas.
It had spread.
Yeah, it had spread to the lymph nodes and behind the breast wall.
And it's very different for each kind of cancer. So what you have for breast cancer is very different than what somebody has for lung cancer, what stage it is. Same thing with lymphomas and leukemias and that, because obviously lymphoma is all over the place, but you can still have a stage 1 or stage 2 of that. So it looks like you definitely obviously had the lymph node involvement and it went elsewhere.
I had an angry boob.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was very angry.
Yeah, and then they also look at different things. Is the ductal carcinoma,
so that's what it was. It was invasive. What is it? Invasive.
So
ductal carcinoma.
Right.
IDC.
So that is when it kind of breaks through that wall of the ducts. Obviously we have our ducts in our breasts that fill up with milk and that, and we have our milk ducts when we do breastfeeding. So once it goes into that, it becomes invasive. It just kind of breaks through that duct.
So here was my question, because I kind of read about that as well. Like, do you think breastfeeding has anything to do with that?
It goes back and forth. There's been studies I've seen where they've said that breastfeeding helps to prevent it later on in life. And then I've also seen things where, you've had studies that show that it doesn't have any difference in it, doesn't make a difference in what you do. There's so many different studies out there, and it's so hard because years ago we didn't have this much breast cancer out there. And, you look at, could it be the foods and all the hormones we have in our foods? And,
It's something.
Everything we eat
It's
and everything
something.
we put in
our
and on our bodies is causing cancer.
Like, honestly, I mean, it's something. It's definitely something because it's so common in women. I mean, even just, man.
Well, you say 1 in 8 women
1 in 8
are going to get cancer of the breast. And that's, why?
And just because you have, I want to kind of clear something up too. Like, just because you have breast cancer doesn't mean that you're going to, like, lose your boobs or anything. There's different types of breast cancer, like where your lymph nodes, you just have cancer in your lymph nodes and you have a lumpectomy?
So usually when we get to the lymph nodes, when you have breast cancer, that's a little bit more involved because lymph nodes goes throughout your whole body.
Okay.
So when you're looking at a lumpectomy, you're looking at it's very, it's in one spot. When they go in there and they do the testing on the lump, it's not invasive into anything. I mean, think of your fingers, like when you have a lump, it's more of a lump. And then if you have something invasive, you got fingers on it. It's kind of invasive into everything. So a lumpectomy is usually in a stage 1 type of cancer. Found it early.
Yeah.
There's a little lump there. Sometimes
So it's local and they can remove it.
Yeah.
it's local.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Oddly enough, breast cancer, the number one side of breast cancer is your left side. You had it on the right, correct?
Yeah.
So you definitely are.
You know what else I learned? When I learned that my kidney is like a horseshoe. It didn't break off. Yeah. So I had to have all these tests. Okay. So during this test, I had to have an MRI. Mm-hmm. I learned that I was allergic to the dye.
Oh.
Oh my God, that was horrible.
Did it make you sick? What happened?
Hell yes. Oh my God. I felt this. Have you ever had an MRI?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so
where they put the ink in your body.
Yeah. So when they released the ink, like I just felt hot.
Yeah, I felt
and
hot.
you're supposed to feel hot. So I was like, okay, so I feel that, but then my ears started ringing, my body started getting hot, and I was like, oh my God.
Like a hot flash?
No, not like a hot flash, because I have those.
Okay.
No, like it was something I've never experienced, but it was because I was allergic. So, like I was puking. It was coming out from both ends, and people were like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No,
I'm not okay."
They're like, "Do you need to go to the emergency room?" I'm like, "No, just leave me alone for a minute."
Yeah.
So I sat in the bathroom, and I ended up going to the emergency room because I had an allergic reaction. But yeah, that was freaking horrible, and I'm just like, if I can't handle this, how am I supposed? Because at this time I hadn't started chemo or anything.
Treatment or anything.
So I'm like, how am I going to do this? But I did chemo. I did 16 rounds of chemo. So 4 of the Red Devil, and then 12 of the
Taxol.
Yeah, the Taxol. There you go.
Okay.
So I did 12, and that was weekly. So that kind of knocked me down, like
Yeah.
I was tired. Was more tired, and I was still working. I didn't stop working up until like shortly before my surgery. So I worked up until October, and I work at a hospital. So, but after that, I was like, I can't go back because I had, not only did I have my breast removed, I had like 20-something lymph nodes removed, and out of 20-something lymph nodes removed, only 2 of them came back cancerous, but they had to still remove them just because they didn't know which ones, they
right.
And my
just in case.
Yeah, and my surgeon was saying that they're still doing studies, but I mean about the lymph nodes, do you have to remove them all, or can you just take the ones that are just cancerous, or will they spread? So there's still studies right now going on about that, and she's like, we won't have answers for another 5, 10, 15 years. So, I mean, there's a lot of studies going on. But just listen to your body. Get your mammogram. I know a lot of older women.
There's a stigma in the Latino community. Not just our community, but there's a stigma sometimes in our community that, if you don't go to the doctor, they won't tell you any bad news.
Yeah.
So,
no, definitely go to the doctor. Well, no news is good news, right?
Yes, but that's not the case here.
No, definitely not. Like, I just feel like I'm supposed to bring awareness to this anymore. Like, this is what I feel like a big purpose of me doing what I'm supposed to do is, like, to bring awareness to women in my community, our community, to go get your boobs checked. And not just by yourself, go get your mammograms.
Yes.
I do have information on where you can go here locally. I dealt with Swedish American because they took my insurance. So I don't know how OSF works.
So let's just talk about Swedish American because you have experience with them.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point the other today. You said that it's part of UW, and I totally forgot.
Yeah, UW.
Yeah, so it has
a part of Swedish American. So
so I mean, I would just be like Swedish American, but yes, it's UW. So I called around and trying to get information about where you guys can go, where women can go to get mammograms. We do have walk-ins, so you can do a walk-in here at the Charles Street location on Wednesdays. They do walk-ins between 2:30 and 4:30.
Mammograms?
Mammograms, yes.
Wow.
So you can walk in on Wednesday to our Charles Street location.
Walk-in Wednesday.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So between 2:30 and 4:30. Now, Belvedere, they do everyday walk-ins. So you can go to the Belvedere UW location, and also the State Line Center. Now, that is in Roscoe.
Okay.
So, and they also do it every day. So all you have to do really is just Google which center you want to, get a number if you want to call. If not, just walk in there. I mean, it's so there's
no reason not to go.
Exactly. There really isn't. And I'm so glad I did, because I think had I waited any longer, it probably would have grown more. Yeah. And it wasn't aggressive, but it was mean. Like, my doctor, like, he's like, you got a mean cancer. And it was, I lost my breast, I lost my boob.
Yeah. I remember one day me and you were conversing a little bit about it, and you're like, you had brought it up a little while ago, like, you miss it, like, and you're like, it's like a phantom boob, like, sometimes you still feel it there, but it's, it's not there.
Yeah, like, it's you mourn it, you really do. Like, I still have moments where I, like, look at myself in the mirror, and, all I can see is my little birthmark that I had when I was a little kid that I hadn't seen in so many years because I had boobs. So that's all I see is the little freckle that I have. No nipple, just a scar from one side to the other. You mourn it, but I mean, there's days that I just, that it doesn't bother me. I mean, for the most part, it doesn't bother me. I'll go outside. It doesn't bother me to go outside with one boob. I have two on today. I dressed up for you guys. You're welcome.
Thank you for that. But I don't mind seeing you.
No, and I don't mind it either. And I always ask my kids. I'm like,
you wear it confidently.
Yeah, I do. And I ask my kids. I'm like, you guys aren't embarrassed? And they're like, no, Mom. Like, why would we be embarrassed? And I'm like, no reason. I just, I just don't want my kids to, feel.
I feel like they need to see your strength during this.
Yeah, and they did. They seen me. I mean, my kids seen my home, seen me at my worst. You guys see me at my best.
Yes.
Because I tried to stay positive, but behind closed doors, every day wasn't a good day. And unfortunately, they felt it. And I try to tell my kids now, like, my body is going through so many things even now. Like, so my next step in my journey is to have my ovaries removed. So I'll have my ovaries removed in May. So that's going to put me into early menopausal.
Yes. May I ask, is there a reason why? Are you afraid that you may ovarian cancer?
No, so I produce a lot of estrogen. And most of your estrogen comes from your ovaries. So,
and that, when looking at yours, it looks like you had a lot of estrogen that affected the cancer in her breast. So they'll check the difference. You have your BRCA that you hear a lot of.
Yes.
BRCA positive, BRCA negative. You look at the different estrogen, if it's hormone related, which it sounds like yours was.
I think
that also depends, that makes your treatment different based on it. Also, it makes the treatment for your family different. Because depending on if it is related to if it's familial, and it's going to be something that your family can get by genetic and hereditary.
There's a testing for that, right?
So I did have genetic testing, and it came back
negative.
Yeah, it just came back as my luck.
That was your luck of the draw.
My luck. Yeah.
And that's reassuring for your kids and that kind of stuff, because then you don't have to worry about that piece. But
Absolutely.
I mean, I've had it where I've seen families where you've had sisters that have tested positive. And as soon as one sister is going through chemotherapy and that...
We have a friend that went through that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I've had a personal friend too who she didn't have cancer, but she chose to go and get her hysterectomy.
Yes.
She also chose to go get her mastectomy based on that as well.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have a friend that we share in common from high school, and she had breast cancer and had a double mastectomy, and because it was so strong in the family genes, her sister went ahead and proceeded and had the double mastectomy without having any traces of cancer at all.
Wow.
Because her mother had it, she had it, and it pretty much was
hereditary. Genetic.
It was too much of a chance for her to keep her breasts, so she got rid of them.
And insurances do usually pay for that because...
Wow, that's good to know.
Well, obviously, it's cheaper to deal with a surgery versus to deal with cancer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I think I'm going to have my reconstruction towards the end. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have my girls back. But I'm still like, do I want to do this one too?
Yes.
And I could do it at that time, I mean, the doctor has told me, the chances of it coming back, and it's not going to come back. It's going to be a new cancer. You'll get a new cancer. So
it's not the same
it'll
one.
Be a new
it'll
cancer.
Be, okay, that forms again.
Right.
Okay.
So it will be a new cancer. And my chances are really low. But, I mean... Do I want to go through this again? I don't. I don't wish this upon anybody.
What is your treatment with doctors after this is over? I mean, have they talked to you about that? Do you have to do regular visits? Do your visits get less?
Yes, they will get less. I just seen my oncologist last week, and he's just like, because I asked him, I'm like, well, how do I know that I don't have cancer anymore? And he's like, well, pretty much at the time of surgery, all your cancer was cut out. Radiation was just more of a preventive to kill if there was any cancer cells left in you. So that was that. So I guess I could say I'm a survivor. I survived it, I'm not a warrior, breast cancer warrior. I'm a breast cancer survivor,
Yes, you are.
Yes, I did it. Another applause, please. I just seen Pretty Woman the other day. I love that.
Yes.
But yeah, so I mean, all is going well so far, so good. I mean, but I will have to take medication for the next 10 years.
Okay.
I have to get an injection every month right now. That kind of is like killing my estrogen. I don't know.
And what does that do? What does that do, Denise? Like when they give her
that, it's an injection in the belly. It's like turning off my ovaries. I guess that they would say.
What injection? Do you know the medication?
Oh God, I'm so
Is
mad.
it like Lupron or anything like that?
Because
Because usually what they'll do is they'll use like an alternative hormone to put you into like a menopause.
So that's what I'm doing now until I get the ovaries out.
Until you get them removed. Because if there's high levels of estrogen, does that mean that cancer cells can start to form again?
Yes, because they feed off of that, right? Like that's like.
Yeah, I mean, and then you're looking at not only just the other breast, but you're also looking at potential for like ovarian cancer.
Right.
Because
so I'm eliminating that as well.
So you're going to eliminate the chances of it being able to come
absolutely.
back. Okay.
And I mean, I've already had kids. You know, I'm good. I mean, I think sometimes as women, we kind of think, you know, our body parts, you know, we're losing it, and
well, if it make you feel any better, I had a hysterectomy for different reasons. Best decision I ever made. You don't need it anymore. Get it out.
Yeah,
so you take it out.
And
you know, you're going to go through menopause. You know what menopause feels like. You went through chemo.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And I had hot flashes, and I still get them. And yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't need it anyways. But it's still like you gotta lose it. Yeah, like I feel like I gotta mourn it too. You know, like I'm gonna mourn my ovaries. You know.
You probably won't.
No,
I wouldn't mourn mine.
You know, and it's different because it's internal, and you're really not going to have that much of a difference.
Right. So I haven't had a period since like last June. So I mean, yeah. So I mean, it's like my body is it's like changing, and I tried to, like I was saying earlier, I was telling my kids my body is going through hormone changes, and my 9-year-old, she was like mine will, and I'm like, no, honey,
that's different.
Yeah.
You're like, that's
I'm like, we're still. I was like, I think the only thing we might have in common is us being grumpy.
Yeah.
But it's very much like when you're going through menopause.
Yeah.
Your hormones, you know, you're readjusting your hormones in your body.
I think I feel like PMS still. Like I still get like little. Like,
phantom PMS.
Yeah, like phantom. Like every now and then, like I just get on these like bitch little sprees, and my kids are
your
like,
bitch switch turns on.
Yeah, like you know, like, and my kids are like, oh man, you don't even get a period anymore. And I'm like, I know.
Yeah. When my mom went through menopause, she went through it for about 4 years, and I used to get the warning. My brother and sister would be like, she's on one, so just watch what you say.
Yeah. My kids will probably have to do that. Like,
and my mom went through cancer twice. She had cervical cancer before she had my sister. She survived that, and then she actually had lung cancer from secondhand smoke. We owned a nightclub, and you remember, not until 2008 there were the laws that prohibited smoking in establishments. So we grew up in a nightclub. So there was smoking everywhere. So my mom was not a smoker, but my understanding was that like secondhand smoke lung cancer was worse than having firsthand.
Yeah,
so
I mean, you're so at risk, and you don't believe it until, I mean, look at everything that we have now. I mean, just like you see it on people now. It's just amazing. And COVID made things 10 times worse because everybody was stuck in a house, smoking, drinking. And, you know,
is that
extracurricular activities.
Is that what everybody was doing? That's not what I was doing.
A lot of people were.
No, I worked. I'm a healthcare worker, so I was working all the time. I did. I don't think I worked so much.
You guys, you were essential workers.
Man, yeah.
They deemed us unessential workers.
Yeah, no,
we had to go to work.
Yeah, we did.
I did not. I was at home trying to find things to do. I was on Facebook Live trying to make myself, feel relevant still.
And I worked at DaVita at this time. Shout out to my DaVita family. They came through too.
Yes.
They came through for my benefits and stuff too. But yeah, I worked doing dialysis during this time, COVID.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so glad that everything happens for a reason. Like 2020 COVID hit. 2021 I bought my house. Like I was so excited. Like I bought my house and it's mine finally. And then 2022 hit, and then that's when I got sick.
Yes.
So like literally I am still doing 2022 stuff. Like I went to the garage the other day and cleaned it out from like 2 years ago. So I'm like, I'm just now catching up. But I mean, I feel so much better now. Radiation took me down. Radiation, I think, just so tiring. Not only that, but the skin gets affected, like not infected, but it affected just because it's like a burn. Like I literally looked like I was burning, like a sunburn.
Wow.
Really bad, and I was peeling. But then I would put.
Is that where like the incision was? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's where they targeted. They had this target area. They would put this jelly thing over me. And that's where they would like target. They said it so they could get closer. Because like I said, I had the cancer behind the chest, the breast. So they had to get back there. So it was a little bit more aggressive. I had 33 rounds of and that was every day.
Wow.
Every day. And I mean, mind you, it's only 10, 15 minutes, but
The driving to and from.
well,
and
I'm lucky. Yeah, that too. I'm lucky enough that it's still here, in town, at the cancer center. But I mean, I live all the way across town, so I mean that was a drive. But not only that, but sometimes the machinery that these people like our hospitals have, they're not the best. So I mean, I remember being on the table and the machine broke down, like literally standing, laying there with my arms like this, and I can't move for almost an hour. And like if anybody knows me, you know me, I have like ADD. Like I see a squirrel and I'm gone,
Yeah.
Like so to imagine like the machinery just
breaking
down on you, and here you are just and your arms sore. Like I'm just now barely like starting to get like my range of motion back. I do have to go to therapy though just to get it, because like it's still tight. It feels tight and numb. I'm still numb underneath.
So from your mastectomy, because they cut you open, they go through muscle, they go through tissue, right? So it does affect
the muscles,
everything around it.
Yeah. So I mean, I had to, and then I developed cords. Have you ever seen people with cords?
No.
Okay, so it's like where your veins get really like tight. So I had cords develop in my arm. And it was so hard to just extend my arm because my cords were, tight. Yes. So I had to work those out through therapy. So just therapy and rubbing them out. I don't have them anymore. But I mean, it does. It affects more than just your breast. It affects more than just you too. It affects your family.
Your mental health.
Yes. Like, I mean, that's why I smoked weed. Like, I would hear so many people, like, I would get on I'm on a Facebook where breast cancer, and all these people were just like, all their stories, and all I think to is like tell them is like, smoke some weed, man, you'll be all right.
This is helping me in my journey.
This is like, I swear, like that's my answer for everything. Smoke some weed, you'll be all right. But like seriously, like honestly, mentally, like your mental health takes a toll. After I had my surgery, it wasn't until I was until I got my drains out that I was able to like take it in, like actually take what my body looked like without the breast.
Yes.
Like when I had my drains in, I had 2 drains, and I felt like an experiment, and I was in a really bad like dark place at that time, like for a month, because I had my drains in for almost a month. It took me in a dark place. Yeah. I mean, it was nothing that I couldn't like get out of, but I'm the type of person where my misery doesn't like company. Like I just need to be left alone, and I'll get over it.
Just give me my space.
So I mean, my family was really good about that too, just letting me get through everything. And my man, oh my God, bless his heart. He was good.
Amazing during the whole thing.
He was so good to me, and he still is. Shout out to my boo.
Silos, you're the man.
He is. He's so good to me. He was so good to me. And like, he just like, and even now he like just lets me be me. Like he just like, if I was having a moment, like he just let me have my moment. Like, didn't question me, or just, he was, all of my kids too. They were, they weren't there for me as much as my man, but like just having him by my side, like it's awesome to have.
Yeah. Well, I bet you it was really hard for the kids to understand, because you have 2 little ones, the twins.
Yeah.
And I remember you shared with me that was the hardest thing, was to explain to them that you had to get sick before you got better.
Yeah. And I don't think they will fully understand it until they get older, like what I went through and what they went through.
Yes.
Like I don't think it registers. Like they just seen mom sick, and she needs a little bit more attention, and she can't. And Isaac, bless his heart, he's my little. He's my little chatty Cathy. He will talk your ear off, and he would always like like, well, because you have cancer, Mom, because you have cancer. And then one time I had to tell him, and it's okay for you to tell your family, like, what you like and what you don't like. You have to, let them know. And I had to tell him, like, can you not say that all the time? You don't have to remind me, that I have cancer. And he was, like, so apologetic. I'm like, no, it's okay. Just
he probably wasn't sure how to express himself because he's a child too.
Yeah, so and that's why I wanted to tell him, that way he's not like, oh, because you got cancer, because everything was because I had cancer,
Yeah. And you're like, no, Mom's just having a bad day. It's not because of the cancer.
Right.
It's because your room's not clean.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a question for you because this is something that was very personal to me. My daughter had cancer about 2 years ago, and she's a survivor of Hodgkin's lymphoma, and she's doing great.
Good for her. Yay.
But one of the things coming from as a perspective as a parent, going into the cancer center, we were in Elgin, and our cancer center at Delnor. Hi, peeps. You guys are awesome out there if you're listening. Yes. But the thing that I saw that was very disheartening for me as a nurse, because when I get patients in the hospital, I'm getting them in a crisis.
Yeah.
I'm getting them either they were told that their cancer has gotten worse and there's nothing more we can do, or their cancer, the medications that they gave them. Because what you were feeling when you were getting super tired is your whole white cell count, everything is going down. Yeah. So we call it, you have your nadir each, that's when you're at your lowest of your low, your blood count's the lowest, the platelets, everything. And that's what wipes you out. Well, some people get to the point where they are neutropenic, which means that they have no white cells. They can't have nothing to fight off infection at all.
Yeah, I didn't have that. I was very fortunate to just not get so sick. Did your daughter get sick?
She did not. She actually was really good, but we were very diligent on everything that she did. Like, making sure that she did good mouth care and made sure she was hydrated and all that kind of stuff.
That's another thing.
So that there's no cause to get an infection
and
inside,
also making sure that you're not around people who are sick.
Yes.
I mean, we had to be really, especially she went through it during the end of COVID.
A mask.
Yes.
I'll still wear a mask. Like if I'm in a lot of places,
where there's a lot of people around,
I'll wear a mask.
So my question is this though: our first visit, we went to the doctor and we saw a social worker. Great. Talked about advanced directives, power of attorney for healthcare, talked about if you ever need anything, we're here. That was the last time we saw a social worker. So what kind of support did your kids have? Was there anything available to them?
You know what? That is a very good question.
That is.
And this is something my mother had said too, because there's not a lot of things for our kids to do.
If something were to happen to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like there's... Well, not even that. Support. Like,
no,
even
it's support. Explaining to them what's going on.
Yes, because they don't understand.
Yeah.
Or being there
or
to
you don't
listen
understand.
to them.
And how do you explain it to them?
There's not. There's really not a lot of support there for the kids. And it's very important, I think, to tell your kids and let them in on it. I was, like I said, I was very open with my kids.
Yes.
About everything, and I wish that there was something more for them to understand.
Maybe that's something that healthcare can get better at.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Can improve with.
Definitely. There's just so many things that I wish that we could do, like to bring more awareness to breast cancer. October is Breast Cancer Awareness.
Well, next chapter in October, let's do something.
Yes.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. So last year I wasn't able to do my cancer walk because I had just had my surgery. So this year, I believe it's sometime early October. I want to say the 7th, but I could be wrong. But the Strides for America, the breast cancer walk. So I have a page or a link on my Facebook where you can donate. I only did $200. I hope to exceed this, but I only did $200 just because, times are hard right now. One is, doesn't come easy for everybody. So, I set a realistic goal for myself.
Yes.
Do I wish to exceed it? Absolutely. But I will be walking this year, and so will you.
Yes, I will be walking with you.
Yes, I plan. I want to get a team together. I want to just like tutu myself up and like I want to
no boob left behind.
No,
remember
yes,
that was our slogan.
So I had my shirts, my head shirts where there was hands on their boobs. Unfortunately, mine did get left behind, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm okay with it.
You're gonna get a new one.
I am, and not only that,
You get to pick your size.
yes. Well, not only that, but they're gonna cut my belly. So I'm like, I'm kind of like in like, do I want to lose a lot of weight this summer? Because like, what's my boob gonna look like? You know, if I lose too much, you know, my challenge would be to get a tattoo artist to do my
tattoo
nipple.
your nipple on, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we are going to close up our segment, and this is going to be a to be continued, because what we talked about, doing the walk, doing something for October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I'm so for it. And I want to continue this journey with you.
Yes. And you know people.
I do know people. So let's make it happen.
Yes.
And I just want to thank Andrea for sharing your story with us today.
You.
And Denise for sharing your expertise on this.
And coming
thank
all the way
you.
from
from
Elgin.
Elgin.
Yes. Thank you, Denise.
Thank you.
Oh my God. So have you ever seen, what is it, Keenan and Kel? Their little skits. They have, well, it's this thing where they.
She has to share this with you.
Okay. So, anyways, in the skit, they're like, there's a lady. Her name is Denise, but he's like, it's D-Nice.
Oh, yes. I've seen that one.
Okay.
She kept saying, I want to just call her D-Nice.
It's okay. I have a whole bunch of people at work that do the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
D-Nice.
I've actually seen that on my Facebook. People put it on. I love it. It's just hilarious.
See?
Jay Quillen.
Jake.
Yes.
So
Thank you so much for coming out. I actually
Thank you.
got you something.
Oh my God, you did not need to do
It's
that.
nothing really big, but I went to Starbucks and got us something earlier.
She wanted to
that's
get
a
you
little gift
something,
card
too.
for you to have Starbucks.
Thank
Thank you so much for
you.
coming. No, I appreciate it.
Thank you. No, this was awesome. If you guys ever need anybody else again,
October.
October.
In October, I'll message
this
you
is
again.
so cool. Thank you so much, Melly.
Thank you again. Thank you. And I can't wait to bring more episodes to you for the new season of Unscripted. Everyone, please have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.